Okay, so today we're going to really like deep dive into this whole world of algorithms.
Yeah.
And specifically those algorithms that control like all the recommendations we see online.
Right.
Like, the YouTube videos or, those ads that like seem to know exactly what you were just thinking about.
Yeah, it's creepy how accurate they can be.
Seriously, it's like, how do they do that?
Right.
So that's what we're going to like break down today.
Cool.
And hopefully by the end of this deep dive, we'll all feel a bit more in control, of our online world.
For sure.
So I guess like the first thing we need to tackle is like, what even is an algorithm? When we strip away all the complicated tech jargon, like how would you actually explain it?
So you can kind of think of it like a recipe. But instead of like baking a cake, you're giving a computer a super detailed set of instructions.
Right.
To solve a problem or, complete some task.
Gotcha.
And in this case, the task is like figuring out what you're going to want to, watch next or buy next or read next.
Okay. I like that analogy, the recipe.
Yeah.
But then like, how does that actually work?
Yeah.
Like, how do they predict what we're going to want?
So basically they feed on data.
Okay.
Tons and tons of data about you.
So like what I click on?
Yeah, exactly. Like what you click on, what you watch.
Okay.
What you buy. Even how long you like stay on a certain page.
Oh, wow.
And they use all of that to like build this picture of what you like.
So they're like looking for patterns.
Exactly. So one way they do this is through something called content-based filtering.
Okay.
So imagine you just like binge watch this whole sci-fi show about time travel.
Okay.
Right? The algorithm sees that and it's like, okay, let's dig deeper. So it like analyzes the show's description.
Okay.
It figures out the main themes, like maybe space exploration or like paradoxes. And they can even use like facial recognition to see like which actors you seem to like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then it goes through its giant database, looks for other shows with like similar elements.
Right.
And says, hey, based on all that you just watched, you might like this too.
So it's kind of like a matchmaker, but for like entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And then there's this other approach called collaborative filtering.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
So let's say you and like some random person both loved this like really unique indie film with like a crazy plot twist.
Okay.
The algorithm sees that you both liked it.
Okay.
Even though like your overall watching histories might be totally different.
Right.
Right. And then it'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
So they both like this. I bet they both like these other movies that have similar twists.
Wow.
And so it like expands both of your horizons.
Yeah.
Based on that connection.
Yeah. So it's like word of mouth, but like
on a huge scale.
Exactly.
And you'd never find those things on your own probably.
Right. Exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And these systems are always like learning and refining their recommendations as you interact with stuff.
Right.
But that kind of brings us to like an important point.
Okay.
So while these algorithms can be like amazing at predicting what we'll like, there's also a downside.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about the filter bubble.
Yeah, exactly.
Like where we only see things that we already agree with.
Exactly. So like imagine you're scrolling through your feed and all you see is news that like confirms your existing beliefs or opinions that are like already the same as yours.
Yeah.
That's the filter bubble in action.
Okay.
And it can really affect how we see the world.
It's like having a personal assistant that's like too good at their job.
Right.
They only give you what they think you want.
Yeah.
And they accidentally filter out anything that you might disagree with.
Exactly. And that's a problem because then it like limits our understanding of other viewpoints and it makes it harder to like have, good conversations with people who think differently.
Right. Yeah. So like what's the takeaway here?
Yeah.
Should we just not trust any recommendations?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, algorithms are tools. And like any tool, they can be used for good or bad.
Yeah.
The key is like knowing how they work.
Okay.
And using that knowledge to your advantage.
So don't just like passively take in whatever they show me.
Be curious, seek out different perspectives.
Yeah.
Remember, there's a ton of information out there beyond your little bubble.
Yeah, it's like a superpower once you know the rules.
Exactly.
You can play the game better.
Yeah.
So like what can we actually do?
So you can like actively diversify your online experience by like exploring new topics, looking at different news sources or like connecting with people who have different opinions.
Gotcha. So next time I see that recommended for you section,
I
shouldn't just click on the first thing.
take a second and like think about, what data is behind this? Right. What patterns is it picking up on? Is it showing me the whole picture or just like a little sliver?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Asking those questions is like the first step to like really being in control.
Okay.